Amen. All right, my name is Sister Jennifer Rogers, and I am really excited about this class. I've been really excited about it. And anybody in here, okay, let me ask this question a little differently. So I put some candy on your table. And most of you have never been in a class with me before, so you didn't really know how to react to it. And I think it's really funny because I think, Naisha, you've been here when I did this before. Somebody tell me, huh? Because I'm seeing some of the candy's just gone. Like somebody just did, yeah. And one group, they came in and started switching. They started switching candy around. And most of you committed to fasting today, right? If not all of you. And so what happens is, temptation is always going to be there. Always. It will always, always, always be present. And what some of you did was you sat right down in front of your temptation and you said, well, I'm just going to save this for later. Some of you got with your friends and said, this is ours. Some of you didn't even touch it. Congratulations. But I submit to you that every time temptation is present, you're presented with a choice. The choice is always going to be yours. Because contrary to popular belief, the devil can make you do nothing. He can make you do absolutely nothing. I'm not nearly as much fun as my husband, I'm going to warn you. Maybe. So you allowed the temptation to be in front of you and you made decisions based on what you were going to do with it later. And this is the part I really need you to understand, because when we start talking about relationships, yesterday we talked about who? Who did we talk about when it comes to toxic relationships? Who did we talk about? Who? Ourselves. Talked about you. We talked about you. And the deciding factor on what's toxic or not toxic really starts with you. Because the moment you decide, I'm going to take my temptation, I'm going to put it in my pocket, and I'm going to save it for after 4. I apologize. I straight set y'all up. I did. Yeah. And again, if y'all ever get to know me or you're ever in class with me next time, just don't fall for it. Because I'm telling you, it's a trick. I'm going to trick you. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Huh? Breaking bubbles. Who said anything about breaking rules? I said nothing about breaking rules. Tell me when temptation's ever going to be accepted. Hi guys. I only got 100 seats. Once I get behind you, we gotta go find somewhere else. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go. And you gotta pull chairs to sit. The point I'm trying to make is today, you said, I'm going to sacrifice. Today, I'm going to give God something that a small percentage of you only ever do at camp. And most of you don't do as often as you should. You said, today, I am going to sacrifice. Today. So what does that mean? That means when other things are presented to me, because I guarantee you one fast day, guys, small trick, I got small, safe 101 tip. One fast day not gonna help you. Nah, it's not enough. Especially if you're as off the hook as I was when I was your age. God help me. I wish I had somebody who told me to fast more. I'm sure they did, I didn't listen. But one fast day not gonna do it. So when you decided to share your temptation with your friends and y'all made a plan, in real life, that's what you'll do. I'm a firm believer in whatever you practice is what you're going to do. Right? Any basketball players in here? Good. Are you any good? Like good basketball players in here? And we're talking about practice. We're not talking about my husband just helped me with that. I didn't know what that commercial was about. Anyway, if you're practicing, any other girls, y'all play a sport, anybody play a sport? Why do you do practice? To do what? To get better. Y'all don't practice because I ain't got nothing else to do today. And being saved, there are some things you have to practice. There are some things you have to practice. When we get to start talking about relationships, we're taking you guys on a journey here, and I'm hoping you're following us. Because it isn't that I gotta find somebody who likes me. It's not. It isn't I gotta find somebody who I'm attracted to and I wanna have sex with. That's not it. It's not. It's not, I wanna find somebody that tells me I'm beautiful and does all of the things. It's not. There's a whole lot more to relationships than a Facebook post or an Instagram post. And what I challenge you with is the people that you admire in these relationships, you don't know what happened before or after that picture. You don't know. And so a lot of the stuff, half of the relationship is you. So if you're jacked up going into it, guess what? Half the relationship's already messed up. It's already messed up. If you're toxic going into it, it's already messed up. Now, I know there's a lot of reasons why people do what they do, okay? Childhood trauma, and guys, I'm not negating any of that because I've had plenty of it, okay? I could write a book. I should write. I could write a book on childhood trauma. But there's a whole lot of reasons why we do what we do. And Brother Wayne left you with the question yesterday, why do you want what you want? Anybody here want to get married? If you don't, it's okay. Be like, yeah, marriage sucks, I don't want that, none of that. It's okay. It's like 50-50, I don't know. My parents ruined it for me, I don't know. I promise you, it's going to be a whole lot more than just, I found my person. It's a lot more than that. I wanted you to turn with me.
Split in half.
Turn with me to 2 Timothy chapter 3. Second Timothy chapter 3. 2 Timothy chapter 3. Second Timothy chapter 3. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of them that are good, traitors, petty, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away." How many of you know that we are in this day? What's your proof? What proof do you have that we're in this day? Anybody? Yes.
When it talks about men shall be lovers of their own selves, like there's like a lot of self.
Nobody can hear you. You're gonna have to stand up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
When it talks about for men shall be lovers of their own selves, you see a lot of it's all about me and everybody's focused on themselves versus like everybody else or their community around them.
Okay. Anybody else? Do you guys understand that scripture?
Yes.
No. Okay, just be honest, okay? Just if I don't get it, just say you don't get it. It's okay. All right. In the last days, it says, perilous times shall come. Perilous means difficult. Means hard to take, hard to approach, and hard to do. Men shall be lovers of their own selves. They're going to be selfish, self-centered, all about me. Covetous. It's a love of money. Boasters. They're going to be boasters, proud. It's going to be all about them. They're going to be very, very out in your face with it. Blasphemers. That means they're going to speak against God, speak against things that are right. Disobedient to parents. Did she not preach that thing last night?
My God.
My God! I got my apology for my son on tape. Because next time I start cutting up, I'm going to send it to him. But some of y'all started talking about parents yesterday, and we touched on it just a little bit yesterday. But oh my God, I ain't never heard nobody preach about honoring their parents like that. My God. Even if you don't like them. My mom died 14 years ago. 14 years ago. And I got 3 of my own, and I have grown children. They're 29, 28, and 25. And, yeah, give your parents a break. When I tell you this whole parenting grown kids is for the birds, hate every second of it. I tell my husband that every day. I hate this. I hate it. Because as a parent, it is very difficult to watch you do stuff, especially when you do dumb stuff, that we did dumb stuff, so you don't have to do dumb stuff. It's very difficult to watch you do that and not say something. Now, my husband, he's a very different parent than I am. I be the parent's like, I can do 72 hours in jail. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. My kids will tell you I can do 72 hours. Because I don't believe in, you're not going to talk crazy to me. It's just not happening in my house. So I can do 72 hours. I ain't never had to do it. But I could do it. If that means I got to breathe the brakes off you, I could do it. He's very patient. Very different. He keeps me out of jail on a regular. But as a parent, it is very, very difficult to watch your child do some of the stuff that you did. as a parent, when you see you and your kid, you're like, oh, good grief, what in the world? It's hard. Because as parents, we now have to face, whoa, wow. And now we have to decide, what are we gonna do about that? Because do I do what my mama did? My mama was 5'4", little bitty thing. But my God, that woman had the strength of Samson. She was ridiculous. My husband had to stop her from trying to beat me up, and I'm in my 30s. Okay? She's off shape, but I love her pieces. But I don't say what, don't say whatever. I'm 30 years old. The last time I got slapped, I was 32. Yeah, so y'all ain't. I'm a Gen Xer, okay? I'm almost 50. Last time I got slapped, I was 32 years old. Because I said whatever to my mother. Now, y'all might be able to say a whole lot more stuff. But yeah, I wasn't raised like that. My kids better not even try it. But it's really difficult to watch and to not be able to stop you from making some of the mistakes that you are going to make. It's very difficult. And the grace that we got may not be the grace that you get. So when your parents are acting crazy because they're panicking about whatever it is you're doing, give them some grace. Because one thing I know, I tell my kids, I know what your fight's going to be because I know your parents. I already know what I already know what it's going to be. I already know what you're going to go through because I know your parents. And if you could pray for your parents, which I know some of y'all, I saw y'all being all quiet yesterday, like, oh, you want me to pray for them? And they raggy? Yes, pray for them. Because as parents, do we get it all right? No. No. I had to have conversations with my kids that got in their 20s about what a terrible mother I am. And again, you hold your parents accountable for who they are now and not who they were when you were born. Because I'm 20 years older than my kids. So I'm 20 years old trying to raise. Anybody here 20? Trying to raise a kid? Oh. No, I mean, could you imagine trying to raise a kid at 20 years old?
No, none of us did.
Yeah, see?
None of us.
You don't know. And they don't, there's nothing that happens that there's no book they give you when you bring them home from the hospital that says this is what you do. You just kind of wing it. Gotta figure it out. And the mother I am today isn't the mother I was when I was 20. I got to grow up. And unfortunately, they had to grow with me. But I loved how she put that last night because truly I know that I grew up, and we both grew up honoring our parents, whether they were right or not. Whether we liked it or not, I was raised honoring your mother and your father. I was raised that way. And I am a testament that God will honor his word. He will honor his word. And so while you guys are trying to figure out this toxic relationship thing, is anybody in here over 18? Okay, so most of y'all, relationship shouldn't even be in your mouth, but anyway. But I listed a bunch of things that were that link to relationships being toxic in 2 Timothy. This is what the world that we live in today. This is it. But you guys tell me, what do you think makes a relationship toxic? What do you think?
Bad communication.
Bad communication. Okay.
So, question?
What makes a relationship toxic?
Lack of trust.
He said lack of trust.
Lack of trust?
Oh.
Yes.
Negligence,
Negligence? Yes. Trust.
one way.
One way?
Like
Yes.
communication.
Huh? Manipulation, yes.
Constant disagreements.
Constant disagreements, okay? Go ahead. Say that again. Abusive, okay? Yes. Aggressive. Controlling. Okay, anybody else? Yes. Say that again. Lack of support? Yes. Yeah, what is that even? You guys, okay. I'm a big time TikTok fan, okay? Love TikTok. But this dime store psychology y'all come up with, everything's not gaslighting. Everything is not all that. What does that mean?
It's like someone making you question your own reality.
Okay, that's fair.
And then lying too.
Be lying about it.
And then lying.
That's not what you see, but that's exactly what.
Okay. Manipulate, okay. I like manipulate like that. I don't know, gaslighting just does. It's like the buzzword of 2020. Anybody else? Yes. Somebody's talking over here unless you guys are saying something more important. We'll wait. Wait on you, James. You got something funny to say that the whole class can laugh at? Sure? No? Okay. Go ahead.
I would say going back after your
Going back after what?
like your kids and your
Serial cheater.
Serial cheater is crazy. Serial cheater is crazy. What's about
I want to add to this list.
Number 5.
Always ready to quit. Not dependable. Not trustworthy. Ungrateful. Entitled. Contrary. Won't listen to wisdom. Will ask for an opinion and then won't listen to it. Lazy. Puts in no effort. Would you guys agree with that list? Okay. So what if the keeper of the list was God? What if he's writing the list? And he's talking about you.
Then we got what to do.
You think? I think we do. You see how some of those same traits could fit where we are today? How do we cheat on God? Idolizing something in somebody else? Yes.
Being unholy.
Being unholy? Yes. Putting things. Anybody ever do any of that? One thing I know about God, and I've learned in walking with Him for nearly 32 years, is that God can help you when you're honest. I always tell people you can fool everybody in the world but God and your mama. You can fool everybody. People be like, she's just the most wonderful. You can fool everybody but God and your mama. But God can help you when you're honest with Him. A lot of you came into this camp with anybody come in here with a whole lot of questions and absolutely no answers. I came in here and I needed a whole lot of stuff from God, but I'm not sure how to get it. I came in here asking God, I need you to meet me. Because when I go home, I've been coming to this camp since I was 15 years old. 15 years old. Like I told you, I'm almost 50. I know I look good too, don't I? But what I have learned about God in all these years, and how can I be consistent with Him? How am I going to walk this thing out? It's because being saved isn't an event to me. It's not about a trip. It's not about going away to camp. It's not an event to me. Being saved is a lifestyle to me. How do I survive this world that's around us? Is I don't give myself other options. Being saved is all I got. Because if I can't do it with God, what makes me think I can do it without Him? Let me go backslide so my life can be easy. What? Everybody normal, let me just put it that way, wants somebody to pick them. Right? Or they want to pick somebody. They want somebody to look at them and love them for who they are. Right? Anything? Y'all don't want that?
Yeah.
Am I okay? What the heck? Yeah. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants somebody to love them. And yet you're presented with a God who was all in when He's hung on Calvary. And that wasn't enough. What makes you think another person will ever be enough for you? If God isn't enough, how can man be enough? How? One of the biggest misnomers about relationships is if I'm with this person, they'll make me happy. That is not a true statement. My husband cannot make me a happy person. He can't. He cannot. He can make me happier. Right now, it's like sometimes he's actively trying to make me miss the rapture. But anyway. He can make me happier, but he can't make me happy. Another person does not have the ability to evoke that kind of emotion in you. He cannot give me self-worth. He cannot give me self-confidence. He cannot build me up like that to where now I think I'm worth something. Only person that can do that is God. Because if man can do that for you, then they can take it away from you. Don't ever give anybody that kind of control over who you are. Because if they can make you happy, they can make you sad. I love my husband. Well, before we got married, he told me, he said, I was going to be a good husband. It didn't matter who I was married to. Because that's just who I am. You got to know who you are. This God that said, I'm all in. This is the one I want. How many of you, you're the only one saved in your house? God said, that's the one I want. And when He picked you, He knew who He was picking. He knew exactly what you would do. Yet, He still speaks. It's working. Did y'all make it? Listen to her. She's like, Lord, you for y'all during this fast. Somebody better open up their mouth and give God some praise. Some of y'all thought y'all was gonna die today, didn't you? Fasting ain't ever killed anybody, but I do.
I ate right on you.
Side note on fasting. I have some friends, and we're gonna talk about friends here in a second. Already, I can't, right? Wait. Side note on fasting. Somebody asked a question yesterday, how do I let go of whatever I'm feeling for a relationship that I knew I had to let go of?
Can you repeat that?
And what I don't want to negate is that, you know what, you didn't hear me? How do I let go of a relationship that I knew wasn't good for me, but I still have feelings? Anybody think that's real? That's real tough. I will give you a pro tip on how to be saved and get over stuff, because I've had to get over a lot of stuff. Fasting. What fasting does is put this flesh under subjection. Fasting will silence your flesh. Another pro tip, your flesh does not want to be saved. It does not. It's never going to want to be. So if you think, God, I just want to get up and pray. Never gonna happen if your flesh is the one controlling all that. Your flesh does not want to be saved. Can't be saved. So you're gonna be fighting it every day of your life. It's gonna be a fight. You, however, have to decide which is stronger. Is my flesh stronger, or is my spirit man stronger? And that will be determined by what you practice. If you practice operating in your flesh, guess what? Guess who's going to be stronger? I'm telling y'all, this stuff is not deep. Y'all try to make saved being so deep. It's not deep. It's not. Y'all just making stuff up. It's not deep. If you practice operating in your flesh is going to be stronger. That's a given. It's not as much fun to operate in the spirit sometimes because you're often having to tell your flesh no. But when you think about the long range impacts, flesh is always a right here, right now. Your spirit is preparing you for eternity. Your flesh will never, it has to do what you tell it to do. Otherwise, it's gonna be out in these streets doing what it wants. So for some of you, this was a final break. I finally got to tell my flesh no. After all the time I haven't been able to do it. I finally got to tell myself no. Guess what? When you go home, you still have to be able to tell your flesh no. There's some stuff that's not sin. There's stuff I will never be able to do. Not because it's a sin, but because it might cause somebody else to stumble. Romans 12:1 tells us that we're supposed to show what is that good, perfect, and acceptable will of God. We are living sacrifices. That means I don't get to do what I want to do. I don't. And the moment you start thinking it's all about me, and just because I'm doing it don't mean you have to, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It'll never work. So let's talk about friends. We're going to talk about friends. Because we got a lot of questions about friends. We got a lot of questions about friends. Fresh. Thank you, Jesus. All right. How do I know I got toxic friends? Somebody? I want this half of the room to read Mark 10, 46 and 50, 52. I want this side of the room to read Mark 2, 1 through 4. All right, I need you guys to talk amongst yourselves about Mark 10, 46 through 52, and tell me which, do you think these people are toxic or non-toxic? And on this side, Mark 2, 1 through 4, talk amongst yourselves, tell me what you think about these people. Somebody talk to me about Mark 10, 46 to 52.
Talk.
You look like you got your hand up. Go ahead and stand up and talk to me about that. Yeah, you. Stretch it. Yes, you. Yeah. What's it about? What happened? Guys, he has the floor. You don't have no friends to help you? Why you say that?
Why you doing
Talk to me. Can I come back to you? No, because I'm here now. Somebody help him. Tell me the story. What happened? They don't know the story. Yes, stand up. Guys, ladies. Yes.
It was toxic because Bill was trying to beat Jesus. So you can see it was lying, he was trying to beat Jesus. Everybody sat and told him to just hold his breath. Not try to encourage him not to love. So they did it.
Okay. Do you think that's toxic or not? You do? Oh, good job. Anybody got any questions for them about that? I didn't hear him either. Come down here. You should spoke up. All right, you should have spoke up. Tell them what you said.
Alright, there was a blind man named Bartimaeus, and he was trying to go see, he heard about Jesus was coming, and people was trying to get him to like hold his breath and not meet him. And so I said it's a toxic relationship, because why would you blame him in Jesus?
Come on now. Good job. So Bartimaeus is sitting on the side of the road and hears Jesus is coming. Now, mind you, he's blind. And something that he knows about Jesus says that if I can get his attention, then he can come and see about me. The people on the side of the road will tell him, shh, because he's hollering out. He's hollering out, come help me. And they tell him, shh, be quiet, he's not here for you. You do heal, right? That's what he do. I need to be healed, right? And these people are telling him, shh. Anybody that will stop you from getting what you need from God is not your friend. Anybody that will sit and talk to you in church, or sit and say, hey, why don't we do this? Or sit and why don't we go here? Why don't we break these rules? These people are not your friends. But the alternative to that is what? Because if you got rid of them, then what do you have? For your age group, the fear is that I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to have anybody to talk to. I'm not going to have anybody to express anything, but I'm just going to be by myself. That's your fear. And it's a legitimate one. It's a legitimate one. But the bottom line is, why would I be hooked up with people who are stopping me from getting what I need from God when I know I need something? They may not. They might not need anything. They might not care. But I know better. And I know I need something from him. Yet I'm hanging with these jokers for what? So I don't have to be alone? Is that why? So they can help me go to hell? Do y'all believe hell is real?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what class I was in. I was making sure we at church camp. But, so they can help me go to hell? I would 100% rather be by myself.
Amen.
Walking with Jesus, because he's with me. So I'm really not by myself. Somebody talk to me about Mark 2. Yes. You gotta get up there. You're gonna have to come up here and, you know, it's on you. If they can hear you, stay right there. But I can barely hear you, and I'm like 10 feet from you. So, gotta yell it out.
You guys hear?
A little louder.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically there was this man and he couldn't walk or anything, and so his friends heard that Jesus was like in the building, but there was like a long line, and so they basically broke the roof and put him through the roof so that he could see Jesus. I think that was the impression.
My God.
So this man is sick with palsy, which again affects the muscles, affects your ability to walk. And his friends, because there were too many people in front, they couldn't just walk him in the door.
Right.
So imagine that they now have to figure out, how are we going to get our friend to this God that we know can heal him?
My God.
How are we going to get our friend to Jesus? How are we going to do that? My husband, he told me the other day he had some sickness in his body, and it came on us all of a sudden, because he's not always been in a wheelchair. So this is a whole thing. But there was a time where he couldn't move from the neck down for 2 months. He was essentially paralyzed from the neck down. And he has some really, really good friends. Because, and Zion was there. He called his friends, or his friends were calling and coming to see him, and you know, before we actually went into the hospital, we weren't sure what was going on, so he didn't really want to go, and so his friends had to come over because he wanted to go to the bathroom. And 5 of his friends came over, picked him up, because he's not a little person. Y'all didn't know. He's a big guy. Picked him up so he could go to the bathroom. Something that simple. They did drop him once, but that was the whole thing. Picked him up. It wasn't science didn't do that. What did he say?
I ain't gonna repeat that on TV.
What did he say? What you
I
say?
ain't gonna repeat that on TV.
I said I could do 72 hours.
It's all good. It's all good.
We all get straight.
But what I thought about that is that I can't lift him. I couldn't pick him up. Lord knows I tried. I would have tried. I couldn't pick him up. My son, he fell one day, and I called my son, and I was like, we're going to have to call an ambulance because I can't get him up. He's like, Mom, I'm on my way. And my son pretty much deadlifted him and put him in his chair. When you can find somebody that will get up under you and help carry you, closer to God, closer to what you need. Those are good friends. I only have about 3 or 4 good friends. I don't know, some of y'all having tens and hundreds and all that. I don't even know what that's about. I don't even know any of these people on Facebook that say they're my friend. I don't even know them. But I only have a few really good friends. And one thing about my friends is, one, they're not intimidated by me. And I'm not a person that is easily not intimidated. I try not to be. I do. But it just is what it is. I can't help it. I got this resting face. I don't know what to do about it. It just is what it is. But I'm a really very nice person. Until I'm not. But that's a whole other thing. They're not intimidated by me. They will tell me, Jennifer, you're wrong. We tell each other. That whenever I call them on some nonsense, they're like, girl, you know you made that up, right? Going through this situation with my husband, my friends have been on point. Because it's hard. It is. It's life-changing. And one thing about relationships that you've got to get is that you don't know how they will change. You don't know. People that I was friends with when I was your age, I've only got one of them that is my friend now. And there's probably 16 of us that were all close. But I've only got one that I'm friends with now. One. And she didn't live here. Friendships change. People change. It's okay to outgrow people. What you don't do is announce to them that I'm outgrowing you. Okay? Another pro tip, please don't do that. Do not announce when the Lord tells you to separate from people. Just separate. Stop being so available. You can subtly move yourself out of people's lives. Trust me, they'll move on. People move on. And you'd be surprised how easily they move on from you. I'm sorry, you don't want to hurt the other spirit. I apologize.
No, not that.
Go ahead. I didn't say that. So I had a best friend. I had a best friend when I was 15 years old. Best friend. We shared a locker at school. I don't know if y'all still do that. But we shared a locker. We got to share a locker. I know, right? It's that little. We shared. Best friend. And the Lord told me, you need to move away from her. So guys, guess what I did? I just stopped talking to her. That day. I've been friends with this girl since 2nd grade. We were now sophomores in high school. I just stopped talking to her. She would walk up to me, hey, and I just look at her. Zero wisdom. I would just look at her. Wouldn't answer, wouldn't say a word. I don't know why I reacted that way. Probably because I never had God tell me to do something like that. So I didn't ask him how. I just stopped talking to her. Ran into her about 5 years ago. Yeah. Talk about an awkward conversation. Because I'm like, hi. She said, oh, you can speak now?
Personal.
I said, oh, yeah, that's right. Because, I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I wasn't supposed to be talking to you. That's right. That's terrible. And so she told me, she said, you know what? That really hurt me. Because I didn't know what I did. And she didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know what she was doing, but whatever she was doing, the Lord didn't want me involved in it. So I was like, all right, I'm out. But see, I'm that kind of, I'm not attached to nothing. Nothing. If the Lord said cut it up, I'm done. I will deal with however I feel about it later, but I'm not going to question why he wanted me to do it. Not going to do it. And so some of you get so wrapped up in the reasons. You get wrapped up in the how, in the God, but I could win them. Do you know what happens when you put a piece of moldy fruit next to good fruit?
Good for the turn.
The good fruit can never turn the bad fruit good. That never happens.
Oh, I like that.
So for those of you that are trying to, I'm just trying to get him saved. I'm bringing him to church. Never happens. And it's funny, I only hear the girls trying to get them saved. The guys aren't doing that. They're letting them be in the world. They just be in the world, that's what we're going to be. But the girls are trying to bring him to church, trying to get him right. Yeah, not going to happen. Not going to happen. What did he say? The girls what? Who was that? That one? What? They trying to bring him to the church. I don't know what you're trying to do. Read. I don't know what that is. But I don't know what you're trying to do. But the bottom line is, you will never make bad fruit good. Can't do it. Not gonna happen. Because whatever's made it bad is already ingrained in them. And so that's not something you are going to pluck out. But what I'm confident in is God doesn't need your help to save anybody. Because I don't remember where your cross was when he was in the saving business.
I get it.
He doesn't need your help to save anybody. And so the thought that I'm just trying to help them get saved and the Lord is using, stop it. It's selfish. One of the biggest regrets of my lifetime to date is when I was 18 years old and I was dating somebody who wasn't saved. Called myself, and I was still going to church. Now, I don't know about y'all. Y'all ain't got, this generation ain't got no fear. I at least set myself down. I stopped doing all the stuff. But I was dating this guy. He was a drug dealer. He was doing all these things.
Oh.
And I know, I'm a whole, y'all know me. You know this. Off the chain. Pray for me. So he was doing all these things. And I don't know what I was doing. Again, there's a lot of reasons why you do what you do, and most of that had to do with my childhood and nonsense that I just wasn't trying to deal with. But I was with this guy. I was supposed to be saved. He wasn't. And then I decided I don't want to be with you. He got locked up. And that's where the light bulb went on for me. I'm not about to be somebody's prison wife. And so he would call my house, collect from prison. Never had that happen to me before in my life, unless with my brother. And I was like, yeah, this is not about to be my life. So I didn't answer the phone call. He came to my house. It was like, you know, what's up? And I'm just looking at him like, yeah, I'm done.
Your house.
I'm done with my mama's house.
Steve.
Came to my house. He's like, you know, what's up? I've been trying to call you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. He's like, what are you talking about? I don't want this. He was so, I still remember the pain in his face. And he kept calling and I kept ignoring, because I was done. Again, remember I told y'all when it's time, because I'm done. Again, no wisdom. I don't know what happened to him. But what I do know is I robbed him.
You robbed him.
I robbed him of the opportunity to know God the way I do.
Oh.
What? I robbed him. Because now it wasn't, how could I go back for him? How could I now go to this man and start talking about Jesus? How could I do that?
Right.
Somebody had a question?
You said you weren't doing that. You weren't trying to witness to him. You know?
No, I wasn't doing that. No. What? Y'all ain't doing it either. Stop. No, I was not doing any of that. No, y'all wasn't doing it either. So stop it. Because why would I be trying to get in the Holy Ghost and it wasn't helping me? Why would I be doing that? Because whatever I had wasn't helping me. So I couldn't fake like I was trying to win him to Christ all of a sudden. Come on. What did I tell you at the beginning? God can help you when you what? I don't mind taking all of my crazy to God. Because he can handle my crazy. But what happened is I robbed him of the opportunity. I now made his life harder because now he will reject anything that has to do with God. This is what I'm thinking. Because of me. He knew I was a church girl. He liked that I was a church girl because he knew I wasn't out in these streets like that. The same. That's why they come after y'all, because they know y'all clean. Some of them.
Some of it.
You're not lying.
I'm just saying. Some of them are, some of them aren't. But I robbed him of that. Because once I got myself together with God, I was done with that. But he wasn't done. And I knew he wasn't done. And he's trying to figure out, why can't we still have this? I don't understand. And I wasn't explaining anything to him. That's terrible. But it was a mess I got myself in. And I asked God all the time, just God, please have mercy on his soul. Because do I know God can save anybody? Absolutely. But I know I made that harder for him. So when you're out here in these streets faking like you're witnessing to people, faking like I'm going to take them to church, stop being selfish. Because that's what it was. It was selfish. It was selfish. I was selfish. Because whatever I was going through at that particular moment, it was all about me. But I knew I was going to get myself together with God. And so then now I'm done with you, and now you just out here in these streets looking stupid. It was selfish. And I then robbed him of that. Same thing goes for these dudes in the church. It ain't no different. Or girls in the church. Because I got married at 19 years old. I know why. I don't know, because I was having a baby. That's why. I got married at 19 years old. Hot mess. Hot mess. Selfish. I thought in my mind, okay, so I'm not fooling with nobody that's not saved, so I'll start messing with the guy that is in church, and so that's better. How dumb was that? This is my dumb 19-year-old brain thinking. And I didn't really like him either. But I married him. Guys, don't do that. don't do it. It was a hot mess. Nearly almost cost me my life. Nearly almost cost me my life. So the choices that you make, because see, now I made choices for my kids. So now they had to be in a broken home. Because I'm paying for these choices. Everybody wants to be in a relationship with somebody. And is there anything wrong with relationships? No. Not at all. But when you don't invest in your relationship with God, every other relationship will pale in comparison to that. It just gets worse. Because He's the only one that loved you unconditionally. He's the only one that didn't care what you brought to the table. This whole ideology of relationships, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow and Thursday, but this whole concept of relationships and what the world has deemed traditional versus modern, and it's just nonsense, y'all. It's nonsense. What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? But you can't govern yourself by a word you don't know. And you can't fall in love with a God you don't know. If you don't know Him, how on earth are you going to now live according to His word? And this is where your options come in. Brother Wayne talked about, why did Adam get pulled out of the garden? Because he had his own mind. He had a way he thought these things ought to go. I don't know what would have happened when he said, if he was honest with God. Could he's like, I got another rib, you could have made me another woman. Got rid of that one. What would have happened? Who knows what would have happened? But because we decided we know stuff. We know stuff. Because we decided we know stuff, we now think we know more than God. When God tells you to cut something up, He's not trying to ruin your fun. He's not playing games. And let me tell y'all something. This toxic relationship y'all have with, I need a word from the Lord, that has got to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. It's ridiculous. And let me tell you why. Because when God speaks on something, that settles it. It isn't going to be, well, maybe He meant that for just right now. Maybe He meant, we ain't supposed to be together today. Because I've heard that nonsense. I got a word from the Lord. Okay, and then 2 months later, oh, that person's the devil. Well, what happened to the word from the Lord? Please don't come to me telling me you got a word from the Lord about anything. Because I'm going to hold you to it. I got a word from the Lord I've been holding on to for 27 years. Have I seen it happen? No. Do I know it will? Absolutely. Why? Because He said it. I don't need any other information. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like what He said. That doesn't matter. He said it. So the word of God is not conditional. And when I say conditional, based on what condition you find yourself in. Because the bottom line is, He knows exactly what He's doing. And when He speaks to it, He creates something. Because He can't possibly speak and not create. So when He speaks into your life, He knows how jacked up you already are. He knows exactly what you're going to do. And yet, He'll still say, I want to use you. Anybody ever got caught up in their mistakes and like, God, I know you said I'm supposed to be in ministry, but oh my God, my life was such a hot mess. And I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, but ew. Anybody ever been there? Be honest, anybody ever been there? I know I have. But when God spoke it, does He not know who He's talking to? Guys, God is not like other people who only know what you tell them. I have somebody in my life that will only go talk to other people because other people don't know all the details. I don't want to talk to you because you know all the details. So you would, okay. I don't need to know where God is taking me because he's already where I'm trying to go. And because I messed up, it wasn't like he didn't know I was going to do it. And he could have stopped himself in his tracks when he spoke purpose into my life. He could have stopped. So who am I to now decide I can't be what he wants me to be? I just made that up. What you have to do is you have to learn to forgive yourself. Because once God forgives, he puts your sins as far as the east is from the west. And the only person bringing it up is you. Anybody ever go in their prayer closet and they start thinking about all the stuff they did wrong that day? And that's all you talking about is what you just did wrong? Eventually, again, guys, you're not where you're going to be. That's why I laughed when somebody said, well, I want to know when it's my time to get married, what to do and what. You're not going to remember nothing I just said. You're not. And who you are today is not going to be who you are in 10 years. It's just not. Thank God. Right? I was like, oh gosh. I'm so glad I'm not the same person I was at 19. I'm so glad I'm not the same person I was at 46. But I'm just glad that there is hope beyond where you are. I tell the young adults, I used to teach the young adults here, taught them for 15 years. And the 20s are the worst. I'm just gonna tell you, if you're not 20, or if you're getting ready to be 20, or you're coming out of it, 20s are the absolute pits. And it's gonna be pits until you're 30. Just is. Because you don't know who you are, you don't know what you wanna do. You don't have any direction in your life. You think your parents don't know what they're doing. They failed parenting you. You think all of these things. None of them true, but you still think all of these things. This is why we started this class talking about you and how sometimes your own toxic behavior really does get you off course. Your own toxic behavior can limit you what you think you can do. At the end of the day, the only person that you're hurting is you. The only person that you're hurting is you. So when your friends got you in the corner laughing about something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, only person you're hurting is you. Because guess what where they won't be? When you're on the floor rolling and crying and asking God to help you, guess where your friend won't be?
Right there. Rolling is full.
They won't be there. And I'm gonna have to tell you, this whole thing with honoring your parents and anybody even work? Do you have jobs? Thank God. Because people that don't work, I don't even know. Do any of y'all go to school? Like y'all go to school, right? You graduated already? You are going to have to obey somebody. One of my kids said, that statement, I can't wait till I'm 18. Well, I can't wait either. When's your thing coming, your van with all your stuff in it that you're supposed to get at 18? Because I'm trying to figure out when they're going to get here. Where are all your things? That happens as soon as you turn 18, you should get a box on the porch with all your $1 million in it that's all you. You're going to always be subject to somebody. And what you practice is what you'll do. If you don't practice being subject to somebody, guess what's going to happen? Toxic relationships are going to be your lot in life. Because you don't know how to obey anything or anybody. That's just where you're going to be. And because you're toxic, that spirit knows each other. Anybody ever seen a group of people and they're like all the same?
Oh my God. I can name a few.
There's some groups in here like that.
Oh.
They're all the same. You already know, guilty by, and maybe guilty by association. But I remember in high school, there were always groups of girls and they were always they were like each other. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've always been a loner because I'm like, I don't care nothing about any of that. I just here, do what I gotta do, go home. I don't go to work to make friends. I don't go anywhere to make friends. I don't do that. That's just weird to me. But spirits know each other. So you need to check yours. Because your spirit will attract, if it's off, it's going to attract all of that nonsense. Look at your company you're keeping. Where are they? What do they do? What are they doing when the Spirit of the Lord is high in church? What are they doing? Are they playing? Them your friends? Check what they do. And please don't do like I did and just stop talking to people. That's terrible. Don't do that. But there's a way for you, and you know how to separate yourself from, and y'all need to stop acting like y'all don't know how to do that, because y'all do know how to do that, because you do it with your parents all the time. Stop acting like you don't know how to separate yourself, because you do.
I'm not doing this.
You can absolutely, oh, I missed your phone call, I'm sorry. I'm not calling her back. Oh, and y'all don't even talk on the phone anymore. Y'all simply text each other. That's the weirdest thing. Check your company. Questions? Anybody got any questions? Questions, comments, concerns? All right, we're gonna, y'all can go ahead and go. Go ahead. We're gonna pray. Yep, we're gonna pray. See you later. No, go ahead, go. What you got before everybody else do? Go ahead, go. We're gonna pray. I believe it is 6 through 9. 9, 6, so eat. And the rest of you, I think, have a break or something. 6 through 9 is no eat. Do you want this? All right, Brother Ron, lead us in prayer, please.
Father God, we all bow our heads and close our eyes. Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord, we thank you, God, for bringing us to a place of unity. God, we thank you, God, for the class toxic relationship, God. God, we thank you, God, for awesome leaders, God. Help us to learn and help us to practice what we just got taught, God. God, help us in our hearts and our minds, God, men broken hearts, God. God, help us to walk it out, God. In Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.